This S2000 we tuned a few years ago, but it's been sitting outside for about 3 years. It was wrapped in this army green color. The wrap has since really degraded, and it looks like it's separating. Rats have got in this thing. They've chewed the harness, they've chewed hydraulic lines, water lines, who knows what else. We keep seeing evidence all over the place. So I'm afraid to see what we get involved in. Hopefully we can remove most of it. If it needs paint, we'll paint it. We'll have Superior do the paint work. We'll put a new clutch in it, do the LHT TLC, and hopefully have a nice car to sell at the end.
$43,799. The intake air temperature is 109 degrees sitting here.
That sounds about right.
You ready?
It's hotter than all. Yeah, go ahead. It's got fuel pressure. Hit it again. In so many spots you can tell that there's been a mouse or a rat in here somewhere. Vacuuming it out, it just takes so long. It's like packed in there. We're kind of digging around with a screwdriver, and as you see, every wire just looks like it's chewed. The harness is chewed. We can't get it cleaned out all the way, so we're going to break out the pressure washer, clean everything, get the whole engine bay clean so we can see what's going on and get a fresh approach on this thing and get this thing looking nice, because it's all going to come off. It makes it easier to work on when it's clean. So every little cranny that you see has mouse nesting in there. Tires are all in good shape. They're just green wheels, and tires only have about 1,000 miles on them. But we're going to get all the junk off there and see what kind of condition these are in, because if we're going to sell these, we want to make sure everything is nice. So it looks a whole lot better now. We can see what's going on. Time to start digging into that harness piece by piece and repairing each wire and ohming it out. Basically just got to pull it all apart and make sure you can see where the wire is chewed and fix it. The wrap is really hard to come off. The only way I could get it off is to use a heat gun. You can't get it too hot because then you see that yellow stuff is behind. It's like the adhesive. It sticks to the paint. So if you don't get it hot enough, you can't get it off. I mean, this stuff is an absolute pain. Now we've got some of the harness fixed. We're checking. We're still not getting power on the injectors. We've fixed this section right here. There is more harnesses to check. We're basically pulling it all out piece by piece and fixing it and ohming it until we get our power back to the injectors. Same again, you can see this yellow right here. If you get the stuff too hot, it leaves that goo behind. And if you don't get it hot enough, it just breaks. It's just a real pain. I've got several hours in this now. Well, again, every wire you pull off has chew marks in it. So heat it, pull it, heat it, pull it. I'm going to get as much of it off as I can and then assess the paint. The back bumper looks to be in good shape. Again, we won't know until it's all pulled apart. I'm thinking the hood, the trunk, and maybe the tops are going to have to be repainted. Bumper is in good shape. Spark now. This is just a crude way to get fuel into the motor. We're basically using the vacuum of the motor to suck it through the intake manifold.
See what happens.
All right. Yep. So it's got spark. So now we've fixed the wiring. We found obviously all kinds of chewed wire in between this harness down here, the injectors, power to the coil.
Yeah, we're going to go back to stock, so we got those there just to make sure this worked.
This is just replacing some of the parts. We're sucking raw fuel in there just to see if the engine runs, which we do know it runs, which means these sensors here should be correct. We're just going to suck it out the tank through the feed hose.
That thing leaks a little.
Things all falling apart. Of course, the tap is leaking, so we're going to put a new fit in together, a new tap, so we can feed it in there. The old tap had a Teflon line in it, which looks like it just dry rotted, so we should be able to fire this thing out.
A little bit, not too bad. Ooh, we got one.
So this is a trick when injectors are stuck. As you're pulsing them, just tap them with something. Often it will break any debris loose and they'll start flowing, and then after that you can run some more cleaner through. As you see, we picked up 2 injectors, a little bit more tapping, a little bit of time, and they usually open and start working. They still need to be cleaned, but it will get the injector going. 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
Most 4 cylinders like 4 injectors to work though. I mean, that one is dripping.
Yeah, it's trying.
Heck yes.
There it is. Tell them I've already got the S pulled out, even though it's raining in the parking lot.
He's already got the S pulled out. Okay. Yeah.
Now we know the injectors are flowing, injectors are back in, we'll verify we got fuel pressure. If you just want to cycle the key ester, we should be good. We did have fuel pressure. We'll just make sure. Yep. All right. Come on, come on, come on, come on. All right, stop cranking. It's just rich right now because we dumped a bunch of fuel in one cylinder. There we go. We were using this to inject fuel, which means all the fuel went right down this cylinder and it essentially flooded this one out. There it is. Quite a few hours. A lot of hours. But the engine runs, which we wanted to make sure everything was good. The fuel is old, but for the most part, we fixed a whole bunch of road wiring. Fixed a few of the little things. The injectors were stuck. We still got to put this back together, but all that wiring was chewed. This wiring was chewed. This wiring was chewed. The hydraulic system for the clutch chewed. We haven't done that yet, but now we know it runs. We can take this thing apart. Let me just text George. Ashley, send a video to George because he left, and I wanted to let him know it runs.
He left?
Yeah, he left. It runs. This is the video I'm sending George. It runs. This is the video I'm sending George. Give it a couple of revs. That was quick. That was me. I'll do it right here. I'm just kidding. Flow valve is stuck, which is normal. That's all right. All right, shut it off. That's first stage. So this is a schmuck built, I think is how you pronounce it, and then it has this really cool shield. It's called header shield over everything. It's on the manifold, the hot side of the turbo, the downpipe, the dump tube, the whole thing is coated. Then it's got 3-inch piping. This turbo right here is a G25 660. It's the small frame turbo. It's rated at 660 brake horsepower. This one was making 500 the way it sat. Well, this turbo kit is going to come off. This will be for sale. The fuel system will be for sale. It has an AEM V2 in there. That will be for sale. Suspension, all that is coming off. As you see, I ain't even got to this side right here. I've probably got about 12 hours in the paint so far. If you got any suggestions on removing this, I'm thinking some of it is just going to be trashed. The hood, the trunk, this is all coming off fine. I have a feeling this is just going to be destroyed. I think all that is going to have to be painted, which sucks. So I am planning on reselling this car. I'm hopefully going to make a profit on it. Kind of like if you watch the Silver Dancer series, same kind of thing with that car. We went through it so that basically when the car was finished, the buyer could buy it and he knew what he was getting into. I'm not really into selling cars, and if I do, I like to make sure they're right. But the paint will be done by a superior. We're not going to go to the cutthroat paint guy down the road that does a quick buff and shoot for $500 because the car is too nice for that. This kit might be spoken for. I'll keep you updated on each episode. If something is still available, I'll put it in the episode. If it is, if it's not, it won't be in there. So just keep an eye on that, and then contact me if some of this stuff is something you're interested in, and I'll describe it as best I can and show it and lay it out and make sure it's right. I don't want to sell anything that's not something I feel comfortable with. And again, if it's something you want us to install, a new front bumper because the grill is cut out completely. I'm not a fan of that. I like the grills to be in, even on the turbo kits that we build. I like it all looking factory. I don't like this look. It just looks just too unfinished. So we're going to make this car right. If you like what you see, don't forget, hit the subscribe. We are trying to grow the channel. We'll show more on this car. We'll show more on the interior. Interior is pretty immaculate. Again, 43,000 miles. So this is going to be a really nice car when we're done with it. It's going to take a lot of hours. It's probably going to take a lot of money because it's going to need some money put into it. Redo the brakes, redo everything. Make it as nice as we can. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode. Don't forget, enjoy your cars.